Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Nicole Vignola Show. Today we're going to be talking about 5 brain health optimization tips to help you make more money, because your brain is costing you money without you realizing it, and these are 5 tips that you can use to help you change that. I'm going to get straight to the point today because I know that you've all been requesting this video, so before that, could you please like, comment and subscribe, and we'll get straight in. Step number 1. You want to think sharper by blocking out the noise. Now here's the thing, a lot of the people that are creating are not actually doing the consuming. And there's an inverse proportion there, because the more you consume, the less time you have to spend on creating. If you want to be a creator, if you want to be somebody that's creating your business, creating your content, creating your writing, creating the music you want to create, then you have to spend less time consuming. And to do that, you have to block out the noise. Now, blocking out the noise also means that we limit our phone use. We block out the people that are judging us, because I love the statement, I've heard it somewhere before, I'm cringe, but I am free. And blocking out the noise means blocking out the potential of you worrying about other people's opinions of you whilst you're on this journey to creating. Are you stifling your own ability to make money because you're afraid of what people are going to say or think about you? I want to remind you that the people that are the most judgmental are not the ones that are creating, because any creator that sees a mistake or sees something that is maybe not in line with what they believe, they will not criticize it. They will probably ignore it and move on because they're too busy creating. And so that's a nice little reminder, because the people that are doing the most judging are the ones that are just consuming the content. And that's what we want, right? We want people to consume our content as creators. If you spend 3 hours a day on social media, outside of what you're doing for work, that's 21 hours a week of social media scrolling. That's a part-time job. In that part-time job, you could be allocating more time to creating your brand, your business, your music, your writing. Imagine you spend half that time writing. 10 hours of writing per week. How much would you get done? You have to limit the amount of phone use that is not serving you. Tip number 2, creatine and omega-3 supplementation. Now, I'm going to add another supplement if you don't sleep well. Magnesium L-threonate. Creatine is the building block to all of your energy. Every single cell in your brain and body uses something called ATP, adenosine triphosphate. It breaks down a phosphate group to create energy. And the brain and body uses this to communicate every single thing, to regenerate, to send information from one neuron to another. Everything operates on ATP. If you want to contract your muscle, if you want to think something, if you want to hear this, if you want to listen, if you want to blink, if you want to breathe, everything uses ATP. When we supplement creatine, creatine essentially lends ADP, which is adenosine diphosphate, a phosphate group to help regenerate energy quicker. Creatine has been shown to increase brain function, cognitive function, and help us think more clearly. So for a long time, creatine was only being used for gym bros, but actually we're seeing in the research that's coming out now recently is that it is effective for women and men, especially around cognitive function. Omega-3 is another supplement that has been shown to have great effects on the brain. Now, 70% of your brain is made of DHA. DHA is one of the fatty acids that is found in omega-3. It helps with inflammation, so it helps you think a little bit more clearly and helps you stay sharp. It also helps to stave off cognitive decline, neurodegeneration. Omega-3 and creatine are the 2 supplements that I would recommend almost everybody to take. Of course, as always, make sure that you check with your physician. And the 3rd supplement is magnesium L-threonate. I personally use Momentous. You can get 15% off. They are an incredible brand. I've partnered with them because they are so reputable. Now, magnesium L-threonate crosses the blood-brain barrier to essentially slow down communication in the brain. It increases activity in the GABA neurotransmitter. GABA is a neurotransmitter that helps to inhibit communication in the brain. So at night, when your brainwaves are supposed to slow down to get you in a state of sleep, GABA is responsible for making that communication slow down. Magnesium L-threonate essentially supplements that activity to help your brain calm down. And it's the reason why it has been shown to be really effective for individuals that struggle with sleep. Magnesium L-threonate. I take 2 tablets every single night to sleep like a baby, and I'm somebody who is constantly wired during the daytime, so I hope that helps. Which brings me to my next point, and that is sleep. We should be aiming for around 7 to 9 hours of sleep every single night. If you want to be working on your goals, smashing life, smashing your exercise regime, making sure that you're staying creative and on top of everything, then you need to be prioritizing sleep. I say that whilst holding my own hand, because there are some nights where I just want to revenge scroll on my phone, but I have to be really disciplined around that. So the first thing I always ask individuals that struggle to sleep is, what time do you put your phone away? So the way that the brain works is we have something called a suprachiasmatic nucleus in our brain that detects photon sensitivity, meaning that if photons or light photons are coming into the eyes, the suprachiasmatic nucleus then communicates with the hypothalamus to tell it whether it's daytime or nighttime. If there's artificial light coming into the eyes late at night, it is detecting that it is still light outside, and thus the brain thinks that it doesn't need to induce melatonin production just yet. So when you then put your phone away and you roll over and you expect to fall asleep straight away, you might struggle because it hasn't had time to trigger that cascade of events that says, hey, it's nighttime now, trigger that melatonin release. So if you're somebody that struggles to sleep, the first thing I would say is that you want to put your phone away minimum 1 hour before bed, and you will sleep a lot better. Because if your brain is vibrating at a beta frequency and you are expecting it to go all the way down to delta, it has to go beta, alpha, theta, delta, that's your slow wave sleep. But you can't do that in a short period of time. The brain needs time to do that. Limit your phone use at least an hour before bed. Increase your magnesium L-threonate, and let me know in the comment section if this helps, because this is the majority of people's problems, and a lot of the people that I work with, when they start to implement these two tools, their sleep goes off the charts. 7 to 9 hours of sleep every single night is going to help you feel more cognitively agile, meaning that you can shift from one thought pattern to another and quickly come up with a solution when there is a problem. And you'll know that because when you're tired, everything just feels a little bit taxing on the brain. You're more irritable, you're not able to think clearly. If you want to think smarter, faster, better, you need to be sleeping properly. Step number 4 is that you want to exercise like an athlete. Maybe not like a professional athlete, but like you want to be treating your body as if you're an athlete. A lot of the CEOs that I work with, they realize that they're operating like athletes in the workplace, but they are not treating their body like an athlete. LeBron James sleeps 12 hours a night during season to regenerate from all of the activity that he's doing. Now, a lot of my clients, I'm not saying that they are like LeBron James in the field, but they are operating at a very high caliber. They are making very high stake decisions. They are making stock trades that are costing them millions if they get it wrong. They are juggling many projects at one go and managing other people as well, whilst living their own lives with their families, whilst having huge financial burdens on their life, because unfortunately the more you earn, the more your life costs. And I know that from working with these high-level executives. And so yes, while they are not LeBron James, they are still operating at a very high capacity, yet they're not treating themselves like athletes. If you want to make more money, you need to start exercising like you are an athlete. Treat yourself with respect. Train consistently, train effectively, train well, recover well. We can modify our gray matter volume, meaning that we can make our brains more plastic, more malleable, more adaptable, more resilient, more ready for change through physical exercise, a combination of resistance training and aerobic training as well. Stop putting your exercise regime on the back foot and start prioritizing it. There's no negotiating as to whether you're going to do it. The only negotiation you can make with yourself is which time of the day you're going to do it. I don't wake up and think, do I feel like going to the gym today? Tuesdays, Thursdays, Saturdays, you bet I'm in the gym. I'm working out, I'm lifting. Every other day, I'm either walking my dogs, running, or playing tennis. I work out about 5 to 6 days a week. And there's no negotiating that. Unless I'm unwell, I'm really good at listening to my body. I know when I need to take a deload week. I know when I need to rest. I'm not saying that you need to exercise when you're unwell or when you're injured, but I'm also telling you that you cannot negotiate with yourself anymore about whether you're going to exercise or not. It is now a non-negotiable. And tool number 5 is you want to rest well. And what that means is that you also want to allow yourself that time to just exist so that the creative ideas can start flowing through. We have our Central Executive Network, we have our Default Mode Network. Central Executive Network is responsible for all these tasks that we've been talking about. Planning your exercise, planning your management, planning your team, planning what you're going to write about, planning your business, how you're going to make money, executing everything, listening to this episode. Default Mode Network works in tandem with that. So when we're doing all these things, we don't allow ourselves times to meditate, slow down, create, think about creative ideas. Those spontaneous, mind-wandering, genius ideas that come to us, those come to us when we are engaging in the default mode network. And that means that you need to allow yourself that space to just exist. Potter around the garden, take up pottery, take up gardening, take up painting, take up drawing, take up music, meditate, do breath work, be bored, read a book, sit outside and watch the birds. I think as humans, we include too much sometimes, and we also take for granted how important that slow time is, that slow space, because in that slow space is where we create the most. Now, I remember when I wrote Rewire, there were days where I wouldn't write that much. I would kind of be pottering around, and I could take myself to the beach, and I would just simply just do really nice things. And at first I felt really guilty, but I think it was an innate thing within me. Something was trying to tell me that this is actually where the majority of your ideas come from, because your subconscious brain is constantly cross-referencing information with previous knowledge of what it knows and new ideas. That is why you get those genius light bulb moments when you're in the shower, when you're driving, when you're doing something really mundane. It's because you've allowed that subconscious part of your brain to make unconscious decisions and bring you that idea to your front of mind. And we can only do that if we allow it to speak. And we allow the subconscious to speak in the silence. I hope you found this helpful. Please like, comment, subscribe, share it with a friend. So many of you requested this video, so I hope that you enjoyed it. Guys, we're going to the stratosphere and beyond, my Rewire collective. Thank you.